Hi, I'm Hayley Berlin and I am a baby consultant, and I just want to today give you a few tips on some of the fields that I work in. My expertise is on sleep training and breast to bottle and reflux. Sleep training, well, there's lots of different controversial ideas about sleep training and routines. Everybody's different, but personally I think that from day one you start training your baby. From day one you become a teacher and a parent, and I think that any training should be started as you mean to go on. So put your baby into a routine as soon as possible. As long as the baby is getting fed on a daily basis, 3 hourly, unless of course the baby is prem or there's some other medical problem, then there's no reason whatsoever why that child can't be put into a good routine from day one. Make sure the baby is fully awake when you feed the baby. So just before feed time, a quarter of an hour before feed time, go in slowly and wake the baby up. Don't go waltzing in there. Pick the baby up. Otherwise, you're teaching your baby to wake up instantly, and that will teach your child to be a very light sleeper. You'll go in as everybody would like to be woken up. Open the curtain, say, "Good morning, my darling, wakey, wakey time," or whatever endearments you use. And gently put your hand on the baby and say, "Come on, lazy bones, up you get," and slowly wake them up. Then once they're fully awake, you can change the nappy and wash their faces and get them ready for make sure that the baby is fully awake when you feed them, because you want that child to finish its whole feed. This is where mums pick up the problem. They pick their babies up, try and feed them. The babies are sleepy. They go back to sleep and they say, "Oh, I've got a brilliant child, just sleeps all the time." When in actual fact, the baby's like snacking and not getting enough food, and will soon wake up an hour or so later, and then mum will have to start feeding it again, whether it's breast or bottle. I know that a lot of books out there say that you need to be feeding your baby continuously. Well, I think each to their own. I think if you've got a good baby who's latching properly, is fully awake and is capable of finishing a feed and going to sleep at the proper time and feeding 3 hourly, plus minus 2.5 hours, 3 hourly, and you're consistent with it, you are going to get results at night. The baby is going to be able to sustain going to sleep longer at night. Not in the beginning, not when they're tiny, but you start as you mean to go along from day one. And then slowly, as the child starts getting into the routine and taking the amount of food it's supposed to be taking 3 hourly, then they start sleeping longer and longer at night. And that is basically the key. We as parents are the teachers. We have to do that. We have to teach our babies how to do this. They're not the ones. We are the teachers. And breast to bottle, well, that's another ball game. That's traumatic. That's really hard. There's another topic that I'm a little controversial on. I think that breastfeeding is a personal choice. Whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it, I don't force anybody. I breastfed all of my kids. I loved it. I've worked with mums who cannot bear it. I've worked with mums who do both. Doing both to me is amazing. I think that's the greatest. You've got the best of both worlds. Teach your babies to drink from a bottle and a breast. And set yourself a limit of how long you want to breastfeed. Some mums don't have to go to work. They can sit there until the baby's a year old. One of my babies I fed till 11 months. The others I had to go back to work 4 months each. But what saddens me is that I have to go in and teach babies that have never had a bottle now to suddenly go on a bottle. You have to let the baby go hungry in the beginning until he or she actually latches onto the bottle, and it's not pleasant. It doesn't take long. I think the longest I've actually got to take a baby on a bottle is probably 6-7 hours, or maybe a little longer than that, and they eventually take the bottle. But my tip is is definitely teach your baby to breastfeed and bottle if you are wanting to at some point go onto the bottle. If you're not wanting to go on the bottle, well, that's fine. One of my babies, I didn't ever have a bottle. It's totally a personal decision, and what makes mum happy and what makes baby happy. And I think that's all I'm going to really say on that. I could talk about reflux, but I'm not an expert on reflux, but I do know loads about it, and I've worked lots with babies. And my advice with mums who have got problems, use your instincts. If your baby's body language is showing signs of major distortion and stretching and screaming and red-faced, and you are worried in your gut, go to the doctor. Hound that doctor. Go back to that doctor until you are seen. And if you're not taken seriously, get somebody like myself to go with you, just so that we could put your case over, and you can possibly be referred to a pediatrician or a gastroesophageal reflux expert, because there's nothing worse than seeing your child in agony. So basically that's my advice for mums and dads, because dads are just as important. And yeah, that's it.